Okay, let's start off with a tip. This is for actors and actresses, but it's also for anyone going on a job interview. Anyone going on a job interview, anyone, trying to partner with someone in business, but mostly people going on job interviews. I know it's tough out there in the job market right now, but here's a tip. In your interview, whether it's in person or it's online, you have to show confidence within the first 10 seconds. Just like videos here on YouTube. A lot of gurus say have some kind of hook where you grab them in the first 10 seconds and you pull them in, and then you have some kind of transition, and then you get into the body of it. I was trying that. And I like the part about starting right off in the bat, giving you some information and letting you know what it's about. I like giving my tips up front. I hate when people say, if you stay on to the end of the video, I've got a great bonus tip for you. I like giving you my tip up front. So here's my tip. Any type of interview, acting, directing, producing, working at Walmart, working at a Fortune 500 company, you're walking in with a $300 suit on, expensive briefcase, women in a beautiful, expensive business suit, polished, nails done, everything ready to go, professional. You have to show confidence in the first 10 seconds. When you walk into the building, you have to be confident. When you're greeted by the receptionist and you tell them who you are and why you're there, you have to be confident. That confidence has to show in the interview. You have to have positive energy. You have to make eye contact. You have to have a professional greeting so that you don't stumble over your words. Hi, you have to be prepared. If you haven't done it before, rehearse it. You're going to look the person in the eye. You're going to have a nice, firm handshake. I'm not saying the crazy ass trying to squeeze somebody's handshake, but you want to have a nice, firm handshake. You don't want to be a dead fish handshake. You want to grip the hand a little bit and shake it. Make it eye contact. You want to be confident. And if you haven't ever practiced being confident, you need to do it. You can practice with family and friends. How would you greet the employer when they first meet you? And you need to know the most important question. Even if they don't ask you, tell me about yourself. You have to have something planned. You don't want to sound canned or phony, but you want to have a few versions of tell me about yourself planned. As an employer and a producer and a director, I can't even tell you how many people I have interviewed and they couldn't tell me about themselves. This is your life. You lived it. You were there. Tell me about yourself. It doesn't have to be, I went on the space shuttle and I am on the first mission to Mars. Tell me about yourself. But you need to practice that. I'm not saying everyone's going to be top of the game on it, but there's plenty of information online, which you have now, on how to do that, how to prepare for the most important questions in an interview. But the first important part, that's the tip, is to have that confidence, and you need to build that confidence by talking to people, explaining who you are, why you're there, what you do, how you can help. Firm handshake, eye contact. Have confidence. And if you don't know how to have confidence, build it. Find out what confidence is by watching other people and seeing people that are confident, how they speak, how they talk, how they carry themselves, how they dress, professional. Have that confidence. Okay, that's the tip. What I also want to talk a little bit about was what to do in an interview. So one of the things you should know a little bit about the company, what they do. And nowadays you can find that out easily. You go to their website and read some of the stuff. Read what the company is about. What do they do? What have they done? Who are their clients? How did they get started? Who are the principal players? Let me grab a sip of water real quick. Who are the principal players? Also, very important, understand from the application that you applied to, what would your duties be? What would you have to do? What do they want you to do? Be able to talk about the skills that fit that job that you already have. Be able to talk about those skills. Truthfully, what can you do that fit those skills? Have you done it? Be able to talk about that. Talk about your value. based on those skills if they hire you. Now, all of these topics have to be, excuse me, all of these topics have to be skillfully worked into the interview. You don't just want to get in there and start, well, I can do this and I can do that and I can do this and I can do, skillfully worked in, marbled in. Sometimes they may ask you straight out, but sometimes they may say, tell me about yourself and then tell me about your experience. They might look on your resume. Oh, you worked at the XYZ company. What did you do there? Know your resume. Know what you wrote on the resume, even if you had somebody polish it for you. You need to know what's on the resume so that you can talk confidently about what you did for that company and how you helped that company. Stay positive. Don't talk about how bad the company was and how bad the manager was and how stupid your coworkers were. Nobody wants to hear that. It may be true. I've worked at a bunch of places with stupid coworkers and stupid management, but you don't talk about that in the interview. You talk about the positive aspects. There has to be some kind of positive aspect, or you would have left the first day. So you talk about the positive. You talk about what you brought to the company. You talk about how you helped them, how you made their customers feel welcome. Every job, even a Walmart greeter, can talk about the positive aspects of what he does for the company. The greeter is the first person that comes in the door when you walk in Walmart. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Old-time style, old-time technique, country store, where they say hi to you. Sometimes when I walk in stores and they say hi to me, I'm taken aback for a second. You're not used to it. Hey, thanks for coming. Welcome. That's customer service. I love customer service because as an actor, customer service is the heart of my business. People don't realize that. As an actor, as a director, and as an editor, customer service is the heart of my business. And customer service is also the heart of every business where employees are front-facing and they face the customers, waitresses, doctors, lawyers. Everybody has a front-facing, some type of dealing with the public. Now, there are some warehouses where, like in an Amazon warehouse, where you don't see customers, but you still got to deal with your coworkers. You still got to deal with your management. So customer service is important. Think of some questions. They may ask you if you have any questions. You got to ask some questions. So think of some. And when you think of the questions is when you're researching the company. Now, when you go to the website, you're not going to understand everything on the website. You're not going to know what everything means, or everything, the details of everything. So have a few questions in your back pocket about the company. Don't ask stupid questions. And everybody knows what a stupid question is. Something that's blatantly obvious. But think about it a little bit. Think about your questions. Maybe what type of marketing do they do if you're going for a marketing position? Use something that could be altered into a question to see if they do that already, or if that's something they're looking into. The last job I had, I was a training manager for a security company, and I trained armed security officers in customer service. Excuse me so much. I'm so sorry. Let me grab a grip of water. Sorry about that. Getting over a little cold here. But I trained security officers in customer service. And what I taught them was the importance of dealing face-to-face with the customers. That's the most important part of it because you're representing the company. You want them to have a positive experience, even if you're going over there to tell them not to do something. Oh, you can't smoke here. You don't want to go over there like a hard ass. Hey, you can't smoke here. Get your ass out of it. Excuse me, sir. This is a designated non-smoking area. We do have a smoking area on the side of the building. If you'd like to go over there, I can show you where it is. Different approaches. Customer service. Front-facing. Pleasant. Even I teach them to deal with homeless people as humans. As fellow human beings. They may be sleeping in the doorway and they can't be there because the company has to open. Approach them nicely. Talk calmly. If you come off with a bad attitude from the beginning, most likely they're going to give you the bad attitude back. So customer service, I'm going to do some more customer service videos later, but have those questions ready for the potential employer. Have something to talk about. Have the ability to show what you can do for them. Not just waiting for them to say, oh, we're going to offer you this job and here, this is how much we're going to pay you. You know, you can ask those details if it wasn't explained in the job offer that maybe you found on Indeed or something like that. But be prepared, do your homework, look at their website, come up with a couple of questions. You don't have to overdo it. Come up with a couple of questions to ask about the company. Legitimate questions that you may want answers to. That maybe the best thing is if they revolve somehow around the services you would be performing for the company. That makes it more real, more relevant, and more educated. You're not just asking a general, oh, when were you founded? You know, you're not just asking general BS questions. Something that pertains to your job or your skill set, or offer an idea of something that they may not use. Oh, I know what the story is about to tell real quick. Let me write. Training manager. Once I started training the officers, I realized that this gigantic multi-million dollar worldwide company had no training videos, no internal training videos for their officers. So I started talking to my management about them speaking to their superiors about me starting a video training department to help the training managers train the clients. So I even went and invested some money, set up a website, a video website, and created some preliminary content and submitted the whole thing and pitched it as a project to the company. My immediate supervisor, she really liked it. She was behind it 100%. She passed it on to upper management, and they were considering it, but then they decided that, you know, they weren't ready at that stage. But those are the things you do to make yourself a valuable employee. Those are the things you do and talk about at the interview that can make you someone they want to hire. So keep that in mind. I'm about to cough again, so I'm going to see you in the next one.